Welcome to a new episode of Hacks and Hobbies with your host, Junaid Ahmed.
The bees are in! Hooray! We have a good batch going and more to come. So, since we last talked, I was just mentioning how our nuke was installed in our apiary. It's going to be a month on the 19th of May since we've had the bees. I checked on them last week and looked like that they were doing pretty good. And then this last Saturday, or Sunday rather, I added another box for them to draw out the frames. I noticed that the new frames that I had put in, they had started drawing them in. So another thing that happened was when I initially set up the hive, I didn't put the top cover in its proper location. Instead, I put the box with all of the frames, and then I put another box on top of it, thinking, okay, this is where I'm going to put the food, and then I put the top cover, and then a telescoping cover, but that was the wrong way to do it. So on my first inspection, which was about 10 days in, I looked in and I was like, oops, they're starting to build bird comb on top of the frame instead of on the empty frames that I provided. And I was like, no, we can't do that. So immediately I called up my mentor and told him what was going on. And he's like, yep, chop that thing off. The top cover needs to go directly on top of the frames. So the only space that they have is this bee space, and they won't be wasting their energy in building any bird comb. So I was like, all right, sounds good. I quickly cleaned that up. I checked all the frames, how many, if there was any eggs or, what's going on. Usually take 24 days for new worker bees to hatch. So I did that, and then I also did some shuffling of the frames around, brought the filled frames with the food on the outside and put new frames in the middle, just towards the edges, so they could draw the frames out. I know a lot of this lingo doesn't make sense to you, but if you know anything about what I'm talking about, you know that it makes sense. All right, so that was about 3 weeks ago, and then last week I checked them again, and that was my first official inspection kind of thing, and I pulled out the frames and I looked, okay, there's capped brood in all of the frames. All right, it takes time for them to come out. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll need to just put them back in. So now, yesterday, which is Sunday, I pulled open the box and saw that they were connecting, they were building, or they were building new comb underneath the damn thing, the damn frames. And I'm like, no, don't build random areas, use the frame. So I had to chop that off, and then I split the two frames. I split the frames, not really split. I basically put a new box, and I put frames around them, new frames around them, and I put the brood above the other brood, so they stay in the middle, and then they hoping them to expand and grow. So that's what's been going on. Yesterday I also went to my mentor's apiary, and we did some combinations. We created 2 nukes for another beekeeper. This will be their first beehive, first 2 beehives, and it's going to be good. So that was pretty fun. We got all that squared away yesterday, and then after that, when I came home, is when I worked on my beehive. Um, I need to go check on the hive today because I did add a quart of sugar water with some brewed booster. So I need to see what the level of the liquid is because it was dripping and it shouldn't have been dripping. I made it small enough. The holes were small enough. Maybe I made too many holes. I'm gonna have to check today just in case it's not drenching the bees. It's not gonna matter because they're gonna lick it off anyways, but still, you don't want that happening as new bees are emerging from their little cells. Yep, so that's where we're at. I am waiting to get a second nuke, and I'll be getting one in 2 weeks, according to my mentor. Our instructor, who's going to provide us with beehives initially, or nukes initially, but there's been problems. So anyway, so waiting for the second nuke. Got 2 weeks time, in which time I need to paint some more of the boxes, build some of the boxes for the food container, and see where that goes. It's been a pretty cool journey so far. It's very time consuming and you gotta wait because life takes its time. Each larva hatches in 24 days. So I am hoping that coming Saturday there will be more bees. It almost seems like the number has not increased. I'm wondering if there's something wrong with the brood. I still haven't had my mentor come over yet because it's been pretty crazy busy. So I'll ask him, see if he can come by this weekend. Anyways, that's the update for today. Thank you so much for listening and signing up and taking a listen. Send me a message if you have any questions. Feel free to send a message down this way. I will update the picture of the podcast, and I don't know if I should rename it to My Humble Bees. That is what I'm going to be talking about on this podcast. I do have plans on just focusing and just talking about bees and what I can tell you about how this works and what my experience has been so far. Thank you again tonight. Thank you again.